I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, fun with this.
Yeah. All right. So, in all seriousness, I'm Kevin Mcfadden.
I'm Jerry Currier.
And we are veteran workforce specialists with the state of Arizona here at Arizona at Work in Sierra Vista. We're live from the Warrior Healing Center, which is a phenomenal location. We have 54 entities in one location that assist veterans from everything to financial assistance, food,
employment, veterans service officer. Just phenomenal organization. It really is.
Yeah, and if you want to get out and get back with the bros and the broettes, it's a wonderful place to go.
Very much. I have to admit, they welcomed us with open arms, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Words can't really describe, it's just, being over here, being with our brothers and sisters, I think is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Because we have there's this disconnect. We get in the habit of just going to work every day, doing our job as DVOPS, blah, blah, blah. However, but now being over here, it actually means more.
Well, I think so. And I think we catch veterans that may or may not be looking for work, or they have a child exiting the military and they want more information. They pop in. Most of the veterans that come into in Arizona at Work are looking for work.
Exactly. And over here, it's a little bit, it's kind of caught me off guard a little bit because, over there, it seems it's business. Like you're saying, I'm looking for work, blah, blah, blah. I need help with a resume or I need help with this. But over here, it gets a little bit more in depth. I guess in some ways, what we should be doing.
Yeah.
We're in the weeds with our clients more, it seems like.
Yeah. So we decided to start working this podcast to not only introduce ourselves and what we do and what our program is, but what we want to do is a weekly podcast. We're going to go over subjects such as how do I define myself for employment after the military, career development opportunities, resume writing, interview skills. How do I speak civilianese?
Yeah. I know for me, I think I've told you this before, when I transitioned off active duty, I think I did everything wrong. I really did. Mm-hmm. Well, those were the tough days. We were heavily involved in Iraq, and we're getting heavily involved in Iraq. And so SFL TAP, what was that? It was, it just wasn't a fun transition. So I'm sitting there, and I wound up going back to Iraq because that was easy money for me, kind of doing what I was doing in the Army. And, so going over transitioning, how to do things right, if you will. And, I still beat myself up pretty harsh because I just didn't do anything right as far as transitioning goes.
Yeah.
It was my own fault, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, for me, I got lucky. I was going to school and started hearing about these the veteran positions within the state, and the timing was right. So, real fortunate to be in this job. Work one-on-one.
It's challenging. It's interesting. Some days are just like, okay, this is going to be a fun day.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the DVOP program is a very phenomenal program because it does do a lot to help the veteran in some cases. And some veterans are very easy to help, from my experience.
Yeah. Maybe
just need that resume or maybe a little bit of training. Then God forbid if it's a little bit more serious. So
yeah, it's pretty much all the Air Force veterans.
It is. You guys are a real pain in the butt, but that's okay.
So for a lot of the veterans watching out there, a lot of you did not go through the transition assistance program. So you get a quick introduction of what the DVOP, which is Disabled Veteran Outreach Program, and the LVER is the local veteran employment specialist,
Representative,
whatever,
or something like that.
And you
But
get a
what's
little
a-
snippet.
Levers?
Yeah. And so the program that we have, it's called it's under the Job Services for Veterans grant. Okay, this is a Department of Labor funded grant. We do work for the state, but we're monitored by the Department of Labor Vets program. And our job is basically to get veterans job ready.
I apologize. Just got a text.
Forgive him. He's a truck driver.
Yeah, I'm a former 88 bike, so I find things very amusing.
So basically our job is to get veterans job ready. And the local veteran employment representative, their job is to communicate on the business side with the employers. So we have set of veterans that we're specifically supposed to work with. Those are veterans with significant barriers to employment. And in order to fall into in those categories, basically a disability rating, previously incarcerated, homeless or expected to be homeless. And for you veterans that don't know, if your name is not on the lease, say you're living with mom, don't piss off mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be polite.
But
Be
you
nice.
were technically a homeless veteran. And then Vietnam era veterans.
Lack of a high school diploma.
Yep, lack of a high school diploma. But I would recommend that you touch base with us so we can make sure that you get to those benefits that you earned through your service.
Do that again.
You earned. Hang on. That was pretty good.
That was applause.
Applause.
Yay!
I love this.
Gonna have fun with this.
I know. And Tim said he can load more, so we're going to get more on here. Yeah.
But yeah, so the DVOP, I mean, I always tell people, come on in. They'll say, well, I may not be eligible for your services. Well, you don't know until you find out.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're going to turn you away. We're going to help you regardless.
Yeah.
Because you're your brother or sister. We're going to do what's right. If we can't help you, you're going to go to somebody who will be able to help you with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
So just to let our manager know, the state of Arizona is awesome. we do great things every day.
Uh-huh.
And just a shout out to Teresa. She's amazing.
Teresa, did you text him?
She told me to say that.
Oh.
She told me to brag
Put a
about
plug
her.
in.
Yeah, you better say nice things about me.
No, in all seriousness, if you live in the state of Arizona, you're a veteran. Our veteran workforce specialists, I've never worked with a finer group.
They're phenomenal.
They're phenomenal. They care. If they don't have the answer,
somebody does.
Somebody does. We'll get you to somebody that does. Our LVER, same thing. They're a good group, and we work very well together. So it's really been a pleasure. And our supervisors, yes.
Teresa, you're amazing. One more time, you're awesome. but because my experience has been, everybody wants to do what's right. Mm-hmm. They want to help that veteran. They want to help that client. Mm-hmm. And we want them working at the end of the day. And, we'll move heaven and earth to help our clients. Yeah. And that's what I find amazing with our program in general. I really do.
Well, and it's not just about getting a job, okay? I'll be honest, a veteran, if you want to work at Dollar Tree, it's done. Got it. We'll get you in. 6 hours a week, minimum wage, if that's what you want. But it's more about, okay, if you need a job right away, because you got to put food on the table, you have family, or, what are bills? We all have that. But it's it's the career. All right, really, I always ask veterans, what do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, serve 20 years, you're senior NCO or officer, and do you want to continue to do what you were doing, or did you go? Okay, hey, that life is over. I want something new. That's where we really come in. We'll look at the labor market, and tell you, hey, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to drive a train here in Sierra Vista. The tracks are gone. You know,
Mhm.
you want to do law enforcement, but you couldn't pass your last PT test. So why would you waste your GI Bill
No, and you're
training
right.
on that?
I always feel, and this has been my experience, in the military and working with clients, is that I feel a veteran has the ability to reinvent themselves fairly, I don't want to say fairly easy,
Yeah.
but if you look at how diverse your career goes, I don't care if you've been in the military for a year or 30 years, you're trained to adapt. You're trained to make mission happen, and so it's really interesting to see veterans when they exit the military. Either they go back to school to change their whole career field, or you go back to work in that career field. It's just really interesting, and we have the tools to do that. Because you have, if you want to go to school on GI Bill, or if you have voc rehab, or you come to us and we refer you over to receive WIOA funding to see if you're eligible for training.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of tools to make that happen,
Yeah.
to make you successful.
Yeah. Hang on. Scoot to the right. Okay. Just want to make sure everybody can see the Air Force jersey.
Oh, God. Well, the only thing that counts is the Army flag. Go Army. You don't see Air Force, do you? No, you
we got
don't.
Marines.
Yeah, no. Well, you notice the Air Force and Marine are in the corner, so.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Squids.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything
Sailors. Sailors are cute and adorable.
for you. I don't think they've printed up or made anything for Space Force yet.
Yeah,
we
it's
can work
coming.
on that. Yeah.
Did I tell you my experience at Fort Carson, seeing people in Space Force uniform stuff? Kind of interesting. They're out there.
They're out there.
They're
huh?
out there. But anywho,
Excuse me. I
focus. So, but the DVOP program, I think, is a very interesting program because you're not going to really find anything like it anywhere else.
No.
Every state does differ, but in some, you hear the argument. Arizona, it's what our veteran population is. What, around 500,000?
I think
Give or
that's
take.
the number I heard this morning. Yeah.
And so there's a huge population here, and so there's a lot of opportunities for veterans here, and and I know a lot of them do take advantage of that. With our program, it's just there's a lot we could do to assist a client.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we're resource navigators.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody out there has heard of Be Connected, Arizona Be Connected,
Mm-hmm.
with the Arizona Coalition of Military Families, but they offer free training on how to be a resource navigator.
Yep.
They will teach anyone, so if you work at a rural doctor's office, they will teach you where the resources are. So if you have a veteran come in and some of us tend to talk too much. You hear something, you go, well, hey, did you know there's this resource? And just about every resource in the state is listed on the Be Connected website. And if you can't find it on the website, or you just too lazy to look, there's a phone number. You can talk to one of their resource navigators who will say, this is what's in your area. Here's the contact numbers. Because sometimes a veteran will come in and say, hey, I'm looking for work.
Exactly.
And you find out, Vietnam era, that served in Vietnam, never filed a VA claim. They have some disabilities that could be related to Agent Orange. Is it that you need work right now, or do you need the money? I mean, okay, we'll do your resume, we'll do everything, we can get you the job. But in the meantime, you need to get those benefits that you deserve. Plus, are you getting treated medically, the right treatment? Are you even seeing the doc?
Yep. No, and you're right. And I know from my experience is that, I tell people, the military, the person you were when you enlisted and who you are today, mentally, physically, two different people. The military takes a toll on you. I mean, whether you're working on a flight line or you're that that war fighter out there, or even if you're working in human resource office, the military teaches you, it's a very, I hate to say this, it's kind of dysfunctional because what the mission of the military to do.
Yeah.
Either you're the war fighter, you support, like I said. So when you exit the military, I feel it's very important that you at least get registered into the VA system.
Yeah.
Because, if you don't have to have deployed to have injury and be to receive a disability.
Yeah.
You could have fallen out of the back of a truck or tripped down the stairs or whatever the case is.
Paper cut?
Yeah, paper. Those are hard. Those are harsh.
Man.
I had one the other day. But it's very important that when you're transitioning, it all starts when you transition, that you pay attention to what they're saying. It's very important.
Yeah.
And so if you, for whatever reason, didn't understand what they were saying, or you just didn't pay attention, if you were to come down to places like the Warrior Healing Center, connect with a DVOP, and that DVOP can tell you, okay, this is what we're going to do with you.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, you want to work on that disability? Well, we have a VSO down the hallway. Or you're a Vietnam veteran? Well, guess what? We have reps here that could sit down with you and help you out. Or a woman warrior. We have so there's all these different resources. Like you said, we'll navigate you to those.
Yeah.
We'll get you to the right organization, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then once you get done with that, then come back and hopefully we'll get you a job.
Yep.
Now the crickets.
Oh, I know.
Sure.
Hang on a second. They got a cool party noisemaker.
Yeah, sure. There we go.
Oh, this is fun.
This is going to be a blast.
Yeah.
So, but I we're lucky we live in a veteran community.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
If you live more rural, say, here in the state of Arizona, if you live in a more rural area, contact your local workforce, Arizona at Work, and they'll get you in touch with a DVOP.
Yeah.
And I understand the more rural you get, the more complexities, but at the end of the day, we have those or they could still help you and hopefully get you taken care of. If you're that veteran that has been out forever and you have no idea how to get into the VA healthcare system, contact us. We'll get you going. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. Or we have veterans who have never done a disability rating and have been out of the military for 50 plus. I think the oldest I ever worked was a Korean War veteran.
Yeah.
That had no idea about VA, basically. So,
yeah. Bad knees, bad back, 48 jumps.
Yeah, that's
full combat gear.
Yeah.
48. Yeah, I think your service connected there.
Yeah,
sir.
probably. Yeah, your knees are up through your. Yeah. There's probably a really good chance, but it's just really interesting, that. I tell people, if you come see us, maybe it's just getting your resume. Yeah. As easy as that. Or maybe a little bit of training, or God forbid, a little bit more serious. But, give us a shot. Come down, see us, sit down, talk to Kevin or myself, and, let us kind of not make the determination, but let us decide, hey, look, have you thought about doing this instead? Or, and I think it's really imperative that a veteran attempts to receive a disability rating, because one, we're entitled to it. Mm-hmm. We were promised that we would be taken care of, so we need to hold the VA accountable for that.
Yeah.
But look at it from a financial standpoint. Look at it from the standpoint of just a little bit extra money coming in. Because times can be tough, especially in the last year, what we were seeing with the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, and for those of you who are told you're overqualified, no, you're not. No. You're a threat.
Yeah.
So you got to tell them what they want to hear. Sorry. And that's where we can really help. Because when somebody tells you to take something out of your resume, that's personal.
Yeah.
That's a pride killer. But, there's ways to target and tailor that resume to get that position. He may have been a teacher, retired, and you want to go back to work, and go work at a grocery store. They don't really need to see that master's degree.
No.
For employers, it's what's in it for me. And if you show them I'm going to do what you need me to do, and I'm going to stick around, if you interview well, you're going to get the job.
Yeah, it's tough when you. I was telling my son this is that if you're going to get out, if and when that day comes, start your transition as early as humanly possible. Mm-hmm. Start asking questions, start networking, and I've heard you say this time and time again, get information on your labor market.
Yeah.
What's available. You may not want to move back home when you ETS or retire. Maybe you want to go somewhere else where you're going to be able to take care of your family. Yeah. Or if you're going to go to school, find the right school. Or if you have young kids, again, find the right neighborhood or community that you want to raise them in. So start your transition, start doing your homework early. Earlier the better, in my opinion, if your unit will allow you. Take advantage of it. Don't wait until the last minute. Mm-hmm. If I've talked to people who literally come off a deployment, do SFL tab, next thing you know, they're out of the military. And they've landed flat on their butt.
Yeah.
So take advantage of it and do your homework. Like here, Sierra Vista, we have no industry here. So we're a little bit different.
Active duty and military retirees. And you take away those and Sierra Vista doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Everybody that works in this community serves basically those two communities.
Yeah, and I think we're very fortunate because what is it? I was reading one time, Sierra Vista has every government agency here just about, give or take. Yeah. So we're basically a government town.
Yeah.
Lack of a better term. Medical, so it's interesting. Do your homework.
Except for McDonald's. They were the first McDonald's with a drive-through in the country. That's right. Sierra Vista. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Very proud of you. Good job.
Thank you.
Clap.
Slap hands. I'm wiring it. I'm an Army brat, but I did 20 years of Air Force, so it's coming back to me.
Slowly. I've only known you, 6 years or 7 years? Can't say battle buddy. You have to call him a golf pro or something.
Nice putt. That's our battle cry.
Nice putt. But it is interesting. There's a lot we can do to assist. And like I was saying, not every veteran may need that type of help.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I know there's some resumes like, bless it, you're awesome. You're hitting the ground running.
Can I keep a copy of this?
Yeah, because it's just amazing. And then there's some like we need to sit down. we need to have a chat. And I think too, not only the veteran, but the families of the spouses of the veterans, the families. Because the veteran's not the only one. Without the spouse, oh God. I have the utmost respect for spouses. I really do. I know it's not easy. It's hard. My wife, Linda, who's awesome, amazing, perfect, awesome. She's the coolest thing ever. But, when I PCS to Germany, oh God, she still doesn't find this amusing at all, but 5 kids, dog, cat, left Fort Stewart, drove to Charleston, put the van in to ship it, got in a taxi, drove to the airport, flew to Germany. And I was like, oh my God. I felt so bad. I really, really did because we couldn't get concurrent travel. So I left like 2 or 3 months early. Uh-huh. And oh man, spouses are amazing.
Oh yeah.
They really are. My hat's off to them. I know their job's a lot harder than mine. Yeah. I just followed the truck in front of me. That was.
Yeah, I was getting when I was in Korea. My poor wife Janet, she had autism and epilepsy kick in. Well, autism was there, but epilepsy kicked in while I was gone, and trying to get back stateside. And that poor thing, because at the end of every exercise, you expected to go party.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hang out with
right thing to do.
Your airmen, celebrate.
Yeah,
but
it's the right thing to do.
No, but I got my own little place there. A couple of bedroom, living room, and no distractions other than work, and and she's having to maintain everything at home, plus deal with all the needs that my daughter had. So yeah, it's tough, and that's another reason I'm really glad that we're here at the Warrior Healing Center more, because we're getting more of the spouses. We're getting active duty that are coming in to look for volunteer opportunities. The word about this place is getting out, and sometimes as a veteran, you don't know what needs you truly have until you come into the center.
No, and you're right. And that's what I like about it. You come down here, you do the intake if you want. They send you to wherever you need to go. But if they come to us, it's interesting. And I feel is that sometimes it takes a soldier to deal with a soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Because we understand where they're coming from, whether they've been out one day or forever. You start talking to them, and it's kind of funny. You'll see that light bulb go off, and it's like, okay, now we've made a connection here. Now they understand they're not alone.
Yeah.
Because, when you exit the military, you lose that camaraderie. You lose that support system. In the military is kind of an easy job in some ways because everything's provided for you.
Yeah.
So when you exit, it's like, oh man, this isn't good. This is going to be hard. But come down here. I think the biggest mistake I made was when I exited, I really left my community. I really, for whatever reason, I just disengaged. But coming back to working as a DVOP, and especially coming down here, it's like, okay. Yeah. You feel at home. You feel like, okay, I'm back, and it's kind of neat. But even if you don't want our services, at least come down and check out the facility. Yeah. You may not need us, and that's
you
okay.
might make Jerry cry. But
yes,
he'll get over it.
Yeah, Anywho, but I like it when Kevin gets emotional. That makes my day.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Why am I leaking? What are these? There. Hey, what about our water? You done?
Throw the box of tissues. Here you go.
Here, take the dig.
I'm going to step out. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah. No, but it's true when you get
excuse me.
When you get a bunch of veterans, it could be very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it can. But the nice thing is we all joined the military. We've served. We speak the same language. We've PCS. We've gone TDY, deployed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit I got my Johnson & Johnson. What was it, last Saturday or Saturday? My God, I thought I was deploying. I swear it was like a processing line.
Yeah, I feel I was back in the MEP station.
Where's the station to fill out your will? Can I get some...
SRP. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. SRP. I was like, this looks familiar. Oh, crap. We're SRP'd again.
Ready to get on the plane. Where's my box lunch?
Yeah, it was funny because I wasn't going to, but I did. And when I went in there, like you were saying, I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting, to hear next. As soon as you go in, I thought it was the funniest thing. They broke into groups. Yeah. I was group 2.
Chalk 1, chalk 2.
Chalk 3. Go.
Excuse me.
But it was funny. It really was.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there. And that's what I love a lot of times is that that muscle memory kicks in, and you don't mean to. Yeah. You may think, well, I hadn't had anything to do in the military for years, but then you get around your. It's what I get a kick out of. You get around your fellow veterans, it's like, okay,
yeah,
and you just start talking a language all over again, and that's why I think we're becoming more successful because we're embedding ourselves back in our veteran community.
Yeah.
And it's been really interesting. About a month-ish, give or take?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
And the Warrior Healing Center has been happy because there's more traffic, more people. But I think out of the 24 veterans that we've worked with here this month, and I think it was around 24, 18 had never even heard of this place.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's going to be huge for the center, because the center does not receive any government funding. They receive non-government grants and then donations. So which makes it nice because they're not limited through the rules pushed down on that federal or state grant. So they can be creative. They can take a meal to a veteran that can't leave the house. They can get a volunteer to go stay the night with a veteran to make sure they take care of their meds because the wife had to go out of town.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, is that I don't think a lot of veterans understand, especially if you're, I've had some that's been out forever, just like you, but they don't fully comprehend what a barrier to employment means.
Now, as a father of a special needs child, I believe having a special needs child can be a barrier.
Very much so.
Honestly, having a child can be a barrier to employment if you think about it, because you get the daycare, you get,
Yeah.
So
how are you supposed to go to work
Yeah.
knowing that you have issues at home?
Yeah.
From medical issues or,
Yeah.
I know in the Army, our son was, it wasn't nothing major, but he was EFMP. So that limited us, and it was just because learning disability, nothing horrendous.
Yeah.
But that limited me where I could go.
Yeah.
And so if you look at that from that aspect, like you're saying, you live in Sierra Vista, Arizona, are there places here that can take care of that child?
Yeah.
That could work with that child? Or do you live close enough, God forbid, to a medical center because there's certain things that have to be done on a regular basis? So barriers to employment are such it's a wide margin of things to consider.
Well, and we've had veterans come in. Hey, I just got hired. My wife is looking at this job, but not sure on childcare. Oh, well, here, go to this location. They have a listing of all the childcare agencies, ratings, all of that. Wow, that's great.
And they're certified to take care of that child if you're working.
Or we have a veteran that just comes in and goes, hey, they offered me this job, and we never worked with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just happened to find out about us. We're going to go, well, hang on a second. This could be a barrier. You've been offered a job. You may not be able to take it.
Exactly.
Of course, transportation's a barrier to employment.
Education.
Yeah.
And that's something that we see on a regular basis. It could be just as simple as certification, or, God forbid, you don't have the education to take that job. But if you get the education, say they need a degree and you're almost done with your degree, but they're not going to bring you on because it has to, so it's just really interesting how many different types of barriers there are out there.
Yeah, the security guard card, but I just spent my last bit of money paying the electric bill.
Or fingerprint clearance card.
Yeah.
Which some people would say, well, it's only it's well under $100, but if you've just put if you look at gas prices right now, you just filled up your vehicle, and now you don't have the money to get that fingerprint clearance card.
Yeah.
So with that, there's so many resources out there that can assist that client in getting these things taken care of.
Yeah.
Say you need a new suit, or, and this is my favorite, say you don't have the tools to start work, you have to have the tools prior to starting work, the veteran toolkit.
Yep.
Not that long ago, bought a bicycle for a veteran because he didn't have reliable transportation, but he lived close enough to go to work, could ride his bike to work, able to buy that.
Yep.
And I know you've done a lot of stuff, what tools to tennis shoes.
I mean, even welding gear, have done 2 laptops for veterans that were required to have a computer for the job, but it wasn't provided. Now, we're talking $250 laptops, so, hey...
we're not going to buy the greatest, but...
it's just to get you to your first couple paychecks, but it's a good program.
Yeah, and, and it's kind of a shame with the toolkit, when they don't take advantage of that. The money's there. We want to do something nice. Take that is an easy barrier to break down.
Yeah.
We just have to go spend the money on you to get whatever it is you got to start work with.
Yeah.
It's easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what less than a week you get the stuff because
Yeah.
we get it through Amazon. We order it through Amazon. So barriers are really interesting because there's a lot of them are very easy to overcome if you know what resources or organizations are in your local community to assist you in that.
Yeah.
It's really phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not good at Microsoft Office. Well, gcflearnfree.com. It's absolutely 100% free. It'll get you to intermediate level in all. I mean, Microsoft Office, different email platforms, and I mean, it even has stuff on how the internet works and how a computer works. And you get a certificate, but it's not a certification that an employer is going to take, but it'll allow you to put it on the resume as you are proficient.
Yeah.
And it's a skill. If you have a computer and internet at home, you can do it at home. Or, for us here, come down to the Warrior Healing Center, you do it here. We'll set you up on a computer. So there are a lot of free methods to upskill yourself, without certification.
Typing tests.
Yeah.
Just come on down to Workforce. It's free.
Yeah.
If you got to have a certified typing test, go on down, get it. They'll be able to get you on a computer. Done.
Yeah. And speaking of Workforce, the American Job Center, if you're a veteran in your family, VA, okay? Everybody knows VA. But your American Job Center can not only can the veteran workforce specialist help the veteran find employment, but there are youth programs for your dependents. Basically, your spouse can get the same kind of services that we give to the veterans, and then a lot of people have heard of the vocational rehabilitation and employment, the VRE, the Chapter 31. But every state has a vocational rehabilitation program as well. Sometimes you can do both at the same time. So I would behoove every veteran to at least go down to their American Job Center and find out what's available.
And you're right.
Even whether you need them or not. And by the way, if you're not sure what American Job Center is, people still call them unemployment. And we're not unemployment.
We're not. That's what they're called.
But that's kind of what it is. Oh, that's the unemployment office. And no, it's an employment office. But yeah, those are you need to know where it's at and what's available because you just never know. I mean, we have contractors that making $120 a year, and the contract runs out of tasks 2 months early. So then now they're looking for a job. Granted, they're probably not broke for those 2 months, but
what's interesting though, once you exit the military, or like you just said, you've just lost your job through no fault of your own. Now you're a dislocated worker. Now a whole new set of doors open up for you.
Yeah.
So if and the same for your spouses, they call displaced homemakers, dislocated workers, because you had to follow your spouse throughout their career. You're underemployed. So there's programs out there to assist you to make you job ready.
Yeah.
So if you are in, I don't know, say you're infantry person or you work in this MOS that doesn't transferable skills to the outside once you ETS or retire, go to your local American Job Center and say, hey, I got a silly question. I want to see about retraining. What do you got for me?
Yeah.
Just ask questions. And this is money through that they will, if you qualify, they'll pay for you through no cost to you, the client.
Yeah. We
just want you to be successful. We want you spending money in our communities. Another barrier just destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can have a job and are looking for promotion and it requires certification. And you may qualify for the Title I, that training and education money because the concept is great. We want you to get promoted because now we know there's going to be a vacancy at the lower level position and we can fill that job because it's the workforce is an up and out concept,
It is.
And I know that more and more are not wanting to retire or can't at the younger ages, but that is the concept. It's, this
revolving
just a cycle.
door. Yeah, revolving door. So there's a lot.
62 and I'm out.
Yeah, I know. I'm done. I'm going to go set my fat butt and watch my wife go fishing. Read my Kindle, I think.
No, over there.
Yeah,
Cast
no,
it
no,
over there.
yeah,
No,
it is.
you're doing it wrong.
Hand me a Coors.
Wait, hang on a second. I blacked out. No, I knocked you out.
But it's interesting that there's so many programs out there that can assist the client, the veteran, their spouse. And I think it's a shame, especially, I have a lot of sympathy with the spouses. I really, really do. They're kind of forgotten in some ways.
Yeah.
Because they feel, well, all the focus is put on the veteran. Well, that veteran would not have been successful without the spouse.
Yeah.
And so there's programs available for their spouses, their kids. The kids are, like you were saying, youth programs, stuff like that. It doesn't hurt to go down and ask. It only takes a few minutes to say, hey, look, my son or my wife or my husband is looking for a job or training or whatever. What programs do you have available for them? Yeah. Let your local workforce specialist explain all this to you. Or if they offer introductions, go sit through them. It only takes a few minutes. Yeah. It's easy peasy at that point. And if you mention that Teresa is an amazing supervisor, you might get a couple extra dollars added onto your training program. Yeah, right. That's just the rumors I've heard.
We have a suck-up board in our office.
We do. I think
we score points.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good today.
We did.
I think so.
You got to suck up to the supervisor.
Yeah, you got to suck up. Just a tad sometimes. It's kind of important that you suck up sometimes. Oh, absolutely. I think so.
Absolutely.
It's like, hey, can I have the day off? Yeah. You start sucking up a little bit. You never may say yeah. I mean, Bribery doesn't work, though, for some odd reason. I've tried. Oops, I dropped a 20.
If anybody wants to know why we're mentioning our supervisor right now, our performance appraisals are being written as we speak, so it never hurts to...
Daddy needs a good map. Need a good evaluation. But it's interesting. It was serious talk. But yeah, transitioning can be very challenging because you don't really think about this stuff. And you don't think about, well, shoot, what do you mean I got to get an education? I'm a soldier. Why do I have to do that? No. I served 20 years. I served 5 years driving trucks. Yeah. Why do I got to get a CDL?
Manage millions upon millions of dollars worth of equipment. I've trained people.
Team leader, squad leader, platoon sergeant, platoon leader.
And not to mention all the additional duties.
Why do I got to get training? Why do I got to go get a CDL?
And then you get out, well, I'm just going to go manage retail. And they go, have you ever worked retail? No? Well, then you're not qualified.
But I was a platoon sergeant, Kevin. I led soldiers in combat. What do you mean I can't be a retail manager?
I know.
That's stupid. But it's true though. It's interesting.
Like the interview, like the Marine. Tell me what you did in the Marine Corps. I'd rather not.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'd rather not. Don't mention what you guys just talked about in the motor pool or in the flight line or in the hangar. That's irrelevant to the job interview. Yeah. There's that scene I think is really interesting from the Pacific. At the end, when he's trying to go back to college, and he has to do an interview, and they're like, "So, what did you do?" He's like, "I killed people. Yeah, I could tear apart. I could fire a 30 caliber, and it's true because we're taught whether it's to fire whatever weapon system, or if you're a cook or HR, truck driver, infantryman, mortarman, it doesn't really matter. When you transition, it's sad, but in some cases you may have to retrain. Or you may have to be trained in more up-to-date, say, certifications or whatever. Yeah. The military, I know, is trying really hard to be more up to speed, but in a lot of ways, they're still behind when it comes to their military personnel exiting that's going to need training, retraining, or whatever. It's kind of a shame, but unfortunately, there's money there to help with that.
Yeah, but I do think a lot of people coming off of active duty that's NCO or above that you manage personnel. You were a mentor. You were a coach.
Exactly.
You were an instructor. A counselor. That so you have all of these people skills. Wink, wink. Because you have to ask more out in the civilian world than you tell. But you have all these skills. You've had to understand group dynamics. You're going to have the weakest in the chain, the strongest. You're going to have your type A personalities, and trying to get everybody involved to build that cohesive team.
And I just want to say, and if I forgot, I apologize. But when Kevin and I, we're not just targeting active duty. We're targeting everybody, Guard, Reserve, everybody, the whole total force concept. So please, we can't win our wars without the full cooperation.
Yeah. And that transitioning service member is another priority group, especially a young service member. You served 2 or 3 years. You weren't taught to think. You were told what to do,
just
when
execute.
To do it. Yeah. So yes, you're going to have some skills coming out of the military, but to go from mom and dad's house or mom's house, dad's house into the military, and especially if you never had a job before, and the military is your only job, honestly, it's almost like you're not ready for the workforce. I mean, with or at least without some guidance,
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if you were IT in the military, okay, now we're talking. We need to get Security Plus. Do you have active clearance? But stepping out the door, out of the military and into the same career set on the outside, sometimes it's not going to work.
No, and you're right. Yeah. And we'll just use truck driver as an example.
Yeah.
So I don't care what branch of the military. We'll just say you're a truck driver. Mm-hmm. We'll say that you enlisted when you're 17. You only do 2 years or 3 years. Yeah. You're going to exit the military well under 21, probably.
That's right. Yeah.
So now, and this is a part that really stinks, I think, and it's a disservice. So you love being a truck driver in the military, so you want to drive trucks as a civilian. Guess what?
Got to wait 2 years.
Yeah, you got to wait.
Yeah.
So, or say you want to be a cop. We'll get into law enforcement. You have to be a certain age, I believe, and I could be wrong. But there's certain career fields you're not going to be able to get into because you're too young.
Yeah.
So you may have to think about retraining or going to school to wait a little bit to get into that career field that you really want. Yeah. So, my son, 88 Mike, and he joined the Army because he wanted to be law enforcement. We had to wait a few years. So he figured, well, I'll just join the Army. That'll kill some time. And but decided to stay, which is good for him. But yeah, so if you're this 17-year-old kid going into the military, you may want to think long and hard about the job you're going to pick or what you want to do when you exit, because you may be too young. You may have to go to school, either reinvent yourself or go to school for something.
Yeah. But that's all this we're talking about. That's why it's so important. And especially I say, if you're a transitioning service member, you definitely need to talk to us prior to getting out, because when you go through transition assistance program, they're going to give you a lot of good information, okay? But they're only going to sign off on one resume that you write, and that's basically going to be a resume that you're writing for, okay, this is the career field that I want to go into, but it's not targeted.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting because I was doing some research last week on veteran priority service. So as a veteran, you have priority service. That means you come in, you're going to be seen as quickly as humanly possible. But take that as, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So as a transitioning service member, I think it's 38 United States Code, where it says it makes sense to start early.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes sense to talk to American Job Center personnel if it's a year out, 6 months. If you know you're ETSing without a shadow of a doubt, start working with your local American Job Center rep, DVOP, whatever, and start that transition as soon as possible. Some states, well, some installations, what is it called, the Bridge program?
Skill Bridge.
Yeah, Skill Bridge. They start really early to allow that soldier to, and soldier I mean everybody, but they allow that soldier to start that transitioning whether it's going to school or even maybe working for a company. It just really depends. So find all of this out as soon as you can, what you're able to do when you start your transition. Because you don't want to be in your car thinking, as you do your final out, they gave you your DD-214 or whatever, and you're now it's like, oh, shit, I'm homeless.
Yeah.
Where am I going to go? Or I'm going to be living on my buddy's couch for a while. So do your homework. It's imperative. That's just my 2 cents.
No, I agree. And what if, can you imagine, 20 years military, you always lived on the installation, okay? So when you went off the installation, it was every once in a while for healthcare, but go eat out, go see a movie, go to the fun park. But once those gates close,
there's no going back.
Yeah, and of course, if you retire, you have access to the installation. But what if you move to a county that doesn't have a military installation?
Yeah. What
do you know that's available? And that's where I think the American Job Center is key. Is, okay, if they get to know that, a lot of the people that work in the American Job Center, that you can even, hey, where do I get a haircut? Oh, so-and-so bar, because a lot of them lived in that community.
Well, no, and you're right. And I read a story a while back. It's been a few years ago about the mobilization, the tempo of reserve guardsmen being mobilized because of the wars. And there was a story where they were interviewing this truck company, and they're like, hey, look, I have to save that job, but these jobs were just, they had to replace those soldiers. But anywho, but what was interesting, after they talked about that, they interviewed the spouse of a deployed National Guardsman. And her problem is that they lived, where her husband drilled out of was the next state over.
Yeah.
So, like you're saying, that was their closest military installation, even though it was a guard armory. So if you retire or you're deployed or wherever you're at, that is a challenge within itself. If you live in a state that has no military installations, you move back home, that's something seriously to consider.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge hurdle, because now you're away from everybody. Mm-hmm. Now you're at the mercy of going to shop at Safeway or use a local doctor if TRICARE will allow you to use that doctor. So these are serious questions you need to be looking at to sit down with your spouse and say, where do you want to live? Because like you're saying, there's no turning back once you exit the military.
Yeah, I'm just for me, I'm glad that my hometown Sierra Vista is based on military installation. Yeah. So,
for my wife and I, it is convenient. We go shop at the commissary, maybe go to the PX every now and then. But what if you lived in Safford, Arizona, or Clifton, and you want to go? Local is either Fort Huachuca or Davis Monthan. Yeah. Or you live up north, like you said, these, to me, those are serious considerations to think about. Major barriers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's, that a lot of that you have to think of before you get out. And to be honest, if you have, you're coming out with disabilities or, just health issues, if you got TRICARE, great. You probably live just about wherever. But if it's VA, I think you want to be fairly close to.
Well, yeah, and there's some places they have like Safford. That's a small VBOC. Sierra Vista is not very large either. No. Luckily, we live near Tucson. Yeah. But what if you lived way out there and you didn't retire? You just did your time, got out, and your nearest clinic's over 100 miles. Yeah. So there's programs out there, like we were talking about in the symposium today. Learn what benefits are available to you in your local areas, because the Chance program now, stuff like that will allow you, do your homework. If you have no idea what we're talking about, call your local DVOP and say, I have a stupid question. I'm just trying to get, how do I use, I live in the middle of nowhere in Bowie, Arizona or whatever, or Wilcox, how do I access the VA? I've never done that before.
Excuse me.
And that's like you were saying earlier, that's one of the things, we're resource magnets. We know If we don't know, we'll get an answer for you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It really is.
If you know, I don't know anything about Sierra Vista or Tombstone, just come talk to Jerry and I will get you there.
Yeah.
It's our hometown. We used to cruise the same streets.
Worked at the same McDonald's.
That's right.
I only
One
did
day.
it for a night. One day. Then I taught them when active duty. By God, make me a fry cook, will you? I'll teach you. I'll be a truck driver in the Army.
I was a manager at the time. I got to wear a tie.
Not me. I was flipping burgers.
Yeah, right.
I ate it every minute. It was hot back there.
Making 30 cents more an hour. Booyah. Was I think $3.80.
Woo!
Big money.
Did you go in the military and you don't make crap for
I
years?
know. And then I made more money at McDonald's.
I know. I was joking with a buddy of mine when I first went in the Arizona Guard. I remember did my first drill, got my first check in the mail, didn't have direct deposit, and $77.12 a month to go play soldier for 2 days out of the month. I was like, it's not a lot of money.
Did you get the DPP card?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I know. That's the worst credit card in history. Well, it only has 10% interest. Yeah, but
that's a discussion for another time.
yeah.
Don't do it.
That's why every room in the barracks has a Xbox or and cool TV and.
Oh, I know. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's funny. It really is. It's and that's what I like about doing my job, because when we're sitting down here at the center and we're in the resource, the computer lab, by the way, if you're interested. I'm just sometimes listening to some of the conversations that's going on. It's kind of cool, because I don't care if you served 80 years ago or whatever. We all have the same thing in common.
Yeah.
We all have the same experiences. We may just call them something else. We have the same barriers. We have the same issues. And it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Warrior Healing Center, for those that don't know, is located on 1838 Paseo, San Luis.
San Luis, yes.
San Luis, here in Sierra Vista. Like I said, or we've said, one of us is here 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And
Wednesday through Thursday, both of us.
Yeah.
Monday, I'm here. Friday, you're here.
Yeah. And then if you need to get a hold of us, 520-458-9309. You'll reach a receptionist, but they will go ahead and forward you to us. If we don't answer the phone, leave a message, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Because we can work by appointment or we can work by walk-in.
Yeah, it's whatever you need.
Yeah.
If you want to work virtual, we'll work virtual. But sometimes, and I totally understand, especially with the way things are now. Totally get it. But if you're not very good computer savvy or whatever, and you want to come on down.
Yeah.
All of our shots are up to date, so we're good to go. So.
Yeah.
Nothing to fear.
Got my rabies shot the other day.
Took my meds every day, so we're okay. We're fine. So.
Took my Flintstones this morning. So
I don't like Flintstone chewable. I'd rather have the gummies.
Oh, I like the chewable. We used to eat that like candy.
I know, but they have that chalk taste. They really do.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it, man.
I like the gummies.
You can't. Do they even have an adult Flintstone?
I don't know. Well, if you guys know if they're, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if they have adult Flintstones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they do. I just could never get past the chalk taste. It was kind of gross.
I loved it.
Well, let me back up. Grape is okay. Grape was fine.
Oh, yeah. The grape was the best.
Yeah, it was. It was the bomb.
Yeah.
It was the bomb. But I found out, not speaking of vitamins, but kind of changed subject a little bit. So I go home last night making dinner, and I go to the cupboard, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know we had Orange Crush instant powder. So Linda's like, oh, yeah, you know what's really good? You take that and mix it with soda water. Carbonated water. She's like, it is the bomb. And I'm like, really? May have to try that out. Just an FYI. Didn't mean to get off subject of Flintstone chewables. My bad.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was kind of neat,
That was cool. You've been nice to her lately, right? She's not setting you up for something?
See, I don't know. I'm kind of worried. It's just I do get, I have you on speed dial. So
Oh, okay.
so if we're laying there and she's always like, I miss you today. It's like, or you get that weird text out of I love you and I miss you. It's like, okay, what's going on? Your spidey sense goes off and it's like, man, what did I do?
I missed you today. How many shots did you fire?
What the hell? Come on. That's not funny.
Oh, well, time's up, and we even had a crickets moment.
I know.
That's
we
pretty
did.
good.
It's not bad. Not bad.
So in all seriousness, we just want to do the introduction. We just wanted to have fun, throw a bunch of things out there, and but we will have we'll have some fun ones like this where we have multiple people. Next week,
I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah, next
week I feel is going to be very informative.
Yeah, we're going to have at least two more veteran workforce specialists, one from Yuma and one from the Keno Vet Center up in Tucson. And we'll have a regional coordinator who's
a Marine.
Yeah, he's a Marine.
He's a Marine. We'll put him in front of the T-shirt. He should be okay.
But he's been doing this for a while. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, well. And so we'll talk a little more about the programs and what's out there for veterans. And then after that, we'll start getting into a little bit more structured. We'll start talking about the do's and the don'ts on resumes. Interviewing. We're going to talk about why nobody cares about your good conduct medal. Unless you're applying for federal service.
Or if you have that fabulous schnooch and sneer, qualified gold, that means nothing on a resume.
Yeah. Unless you're CPR certified, nobody cares if you get the combat first aid or whatever.
Whatever they call that. But you know what, though? And this came as a shocker to me. Not everybody cares about what we did. They just want to know if you want to go to work.
I know.
So...
Yeah.
To me, that was a wake-up call.
Yeah. I mean, but we're pretty important. So.
Yeah, we are. We're kind of big deal. After all these years, I told you we'd have a Jerry and Kevin day.
I know we got Jerry and Kevin day.
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't believe me. Yeah. It will come, Kevin.
Yeah. But seriously, we're going to do this weekly. We'll have different topics. Maybe
we'll be able to bring our manager, Teresa, one day.
If you want to comment on the posts on topics or comments in the comment section for the video, topics you'd like to see covered, please do.
No political. Sorry.
No,
we're here to
just veterans and military.
Veteran related, employment, whatever, education, or what resources are available to you. If you have a question, send us your email, and we'll be able to address it. Or if you want, please just ask. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Right. So until next week.
Dun 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 dun.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Everybody take care. We'll see you next week.
Y'all have a good one.
Oh, we do so much better.
I think so. That was fun. My only issue... Oh, shit. It's a Lear field. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Worthless trivia, but that was fun.
Well, I do want to get something like that, though, too.
What's that?
I do want to get something like that, a bolt action.
I have a Lee Enfield, a Mark IV.
Yeah.
Which I love it. It was made in Canada, 1942.
Oh my God, LOL, I'm watching you both.
Who's that?
Teresa.
She's like, don't say nothing. I have to read you what she texted me. So I started laughing. I was like, don't say nothing bad about the state. Please.
Get that light. Otherwise, I'm going to bring you a step stool.